Hello and welcome to this new Android development tutorial. This is part 5 of how to make a gallery application for Android. So in previous tutorials we've added some useful features like the rename feature, the delete feature as you saw in the previous tutorials. And now in this tutorial we will do something interesting. We will add the share feature and the info feature. So right now I'm going to add this share feature. For that, we have to create a share button, the same way we did for delete and rename. So we go and type final button, share button, and we will assign that to find view by IP, r.id.share. So we created this previously. Okay, in a previous tutorial, we created the share button in XML. So right now we're going to add the click listener. For that we go and say share button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and inside here we have to add the share button. So basically this share button enables us to share our image to other apps. It can be social media apps like WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, and also any kind of app really. For that, the Android system requires us to generate an URI, like an identifier for our image. So we're gonna say final image URI, and we'll set, of course, URI first. So URI, image URI, and here we will set this to URI.parse, and we are parsing, kind of generating an URI from the from the file path. Okay, so to do that we go and say double quote file colon double forward slash, and we will concatenate these to the file of the file path. For that we go say files list that get selected file index. Okay, and now we have our new URI. Okay, great. Right now we're gonna create the intent of the share intent right here. For that we're gonna say final intent or okay, remember to import this. So intent, I'll call it just intent. Okay, and this will be set to new intent intent that action sent, because we'll be sending this URI. Okay, and the type of the image we will set will depend actually of the image type, right? So in this case we will use a JPEG just for testing purposes. So we're gonna say intent that set type, and we will set to double quote image slash JPEG. Okay, JPEG. If we go back to our thing right here, we can see that the first photo, if I will run the app again to check the extensions of them. Okay, running the app, installing the APK. If I long click the first one, this is a JPEG image. If I long click the second one, this is a PNG image. And if I long click this third one, this is a JPG image, which is kind of JPEG the same. So right here, we will kind of maybe change this a bit. So we're gonna say if files list that get selected file index that ends with that JPG or files list that get, actually we want those many gets right here, right? So to fix these we will do the following. Okay, we will create the file name in order to avoid getting every time we need it. So final string, this is more efficient, file path, and this will be set to files list that get selected file index, as you can see. And we can replace these we've created previously, of course, with file path right here. Okay, and we can also replace all of these with file path again. File path. Okay, so if file path ends with JPG or file path ends with or actually let's do the opposite here, because we're not kind of getting all the files. So if this ends with PNG, I'm going to create an else right here. So if file path ends with PNG, we will set intent that set type image slash PNG. Okay, and if the file ends with JPEG, we will, in the other case, we will define it as a JPEG. Okay, just set it as a JPEG. Okay, now that we have done this, we can continue with our share functionality right now. So now we've set the type of the file, and now we will set kind of the flags. So we have to double check this because Android system sometimes restricts this kind of behavior. So we're gonna try to do it. So intent that set flags, and we will pass intent that flag flag grant read URI permission. Okay, and we will go and say intent that put extra, and will be intent that extra stream, and we will set this to our URI. So this will be set to image URI. Okay, so great. Now that we have done this, we should create the share chooser. For that, we're gonna say start activity, and we'll pass intent that create chooser. We'll pass our intent, which is called just intent in lowercase, and the message we will say will be share image 2. Okay, great. So now, as I said, Android sometimes is a bit restrictive and this kind of stuff, so we will run. We have a compilation error right here. Let's see. We missed the semicolon. Okay, so yeah, always make sure your lines end with a semicolon. That's a requirement for the Java programming language. Okay, now I'm running it, and if I long click this image and if I click on share, then the app crashes, surprisingly. If we go to logcat to see the error of the app, right here we can see that we have a fatal exception file URI exposed exception. Okay, so how can we fix this? Well, I think there's a long way to fix this and a short and quick way to fix it. And we will go with a quick way because we don't need the long way, right? So to do this, we go to our onCreate method right here, just after we set content view, and we will type the following. And we are running Android Pie in my case, so maybe this occurs after Nougat. So if you have a Android Marshmallow and below, these won't occur, this error. So to fix this error, we're gonna say if. So we are on the onCreate method, remember that. So build that version that SDK int is greater or equal than. So here we're checking if we're in Nougat or above. Build, which is 7.0, Android 7, for those of you who don't know. Version codes that n. So we check if build version that SDK int is greater or equal than build version codes that n. And if it's greater or equal, we will say strict mode. This is a kind of a hack. I don't know if it's kind of the recommended way, but this is certainly a hack that works. Strict mode that BM policy that builder, and we will create a new builder. We'll call it builder. We'll set these to new strict mode VM policy that builder. As you can see, the IDE auto-generated that for me. I'm gonna go strict mode, set VM policy, and we're gonna say builder, lowercase, that build. And hopefully this is everything we need, if I'm not wrong. So let's run the app again and check if this was fixed just with those couple line of codes. Okay, long click here and click on share, and as you can see, it was fixed. And now we have the share image to menu. Okay, so here will appear the images we are able to share this to. For example, let's try to share it to messages. And we say new message to, I don't know, to, can I do this? Invalid contact. Okay, so apparently I have to use a real contact right here. So let me see if I can make this work. Okay. Maybe messages is a bit complicated to do. Now let's try with another app maybe. Share, I will share it maybe with a Bluetooth thing or upload to photos. Will that work? So maybe actually. So I will use Bluetooth first because I don't think I'm logged in photos or something like that. Turn on Bluetooth now. I will say turn on. So first of all, I don't know if this will work because this is an emulator, so I don't think this has Bluetooth. Okay, so we will check that later as I log in something, because right now it's kind of difficult to test this. So add to maps, I don't know what that means. Can we add an image to our map? So allow access, yeah, I will allow this. Okay, and as you can see, this actually works. With maps we can test that this works. As you can see, here is the photo, and will be the same if you share it to Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever the case may be. Okay, as you can see, the share functionality actually works because the Maps application was able to get the picture from our gallery app, which is awesome. Okay, so now we have integrated that functionality into our app. As you can see, we still have a couple of stuff to do right here, like the info button right here, so we have to integrate that too. Okay, for that we will go back to where we were, and after share button we will create a new button. So for that we say final button info button, and it will be set to find view by id r.id.info show info. Okay, and we say info button that set on click listener new on click listener. So what we will do when we click on the info button, so we'll show information, of course. We will show information about the app, but for that we will do it in dialog because that's a more elegant way of doing things. So we will copy this dialog we did previously in order to avoid typing that much. So this is the rename dialog. Can we do it with a simpler dialog? So we also have the delete dialog. So this is simpler. So we'll copy all of these, and of course we will change from delete to our needed functionality. So we will paste these inside on click. So make sure you have these. And of course, to rename these, we can press Shift F6 and it will rename all the occurrences. It's kind of refactor. And we will say this to show info dialog. Okay. Of course, instead of delete, it will set image info as title. And as message here, we will say something which all will be actually the information. We don't need a cancel button or a negative button. Actually, we will just set positive, I guess, but we won't call it yes. We will call it just okay. It's maybe say okay, I know that, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, and when we click on OK, we will just close the dialog. So show info dialog that cancel. Oops. So we cannot cancel from here. Oh, it's actually not show info dialog, it's just dialog that cancel. Okay. So instead of do you really want to delete it, we have to get some information about the image file. How can we do that? So we'll set the message to info. Okay. And we will create a string of that name, final string, or not final, maybe just string because we will be building it. So string info. Okay, and before this string we will kind of get the file we're talking about, you know. So for that we're going to create final file image file, and this will be assigned to new file files list that get selected file index. Okay, now for example we can get some interesting stuff using the file information we can get. Let me explain. So to do that we actually can get some useful information. If we can explore lots of stuff right here. So let's start image file that. As you can see, we can get the absolute path, canonical path, name, parent, and lots of stuff. Okay, get free space, get total space, is absolute, is file, is hidden, last modified. So this means when it was last modified, which is also the length. So lots and lots of stuff really. So we will first start with the absolute path, but we already have that, which is our file string. So for example, the first thing on our information could be files list that get selected file index. So we will run this and check how it performs. Oh, yeah, so if I long click on this and I click on info, then this is shown, image info and the path of the image, as simple as that. Okay, now that's pretty simple, but we want to do something else. So here we will enter some new lines in order for us to know that this will be kind of a large thing. We will concatenate these with some additional stuff, like the next thing that we will concatenate these. Of course, at the end of every element here, we will add a new line. So at the end of every element, as I was saying, we will add a new line. For that, we're gonna go and say /n, and we will also add a addition sign. And now on the next one right here, we can start getting some stuff. To get the last modification thing, we can, before this, we can do it by saying the date, okay, final date, and we'll say, of course, we have to import this. So final date, and here we will set these to last month date, which will show us when it was last modified. Last month date will be set to new date, and inside these we'll say image file that last modified. So we get the date right here, and when we add it right here, we say last month date that to string, and that should be enough. So we run the app and check if it was successfully generated. Okay, so we long click here, we click on info. As you can see, we have the name of the file and the last modification date, as you can see right here, which is awesome. So we have that. Maybe we can get something else. Let's see what else we can get about the file. As I told you previously, we can go say image file that okay, list, this is not useful, can write, compare to, the next exit, absolute file, absolute path, we have that. Name, parent, path, usable space is absolute, this file is hidden, last modified. So length should be great. Okay, and we will set final, this is long, because remember length is long, final long, file length, and will be set to image file that length, as you can see right here. And now again, at the end of every new parameter under information stuff, we will set a new line right here, and we add a new element. And in the next line, we're gonna say string that value of file length. Okay, of course, maybe we have to reformat this if we need. So I am running this right now, and I'm long click on the information on the image and then on the information. As you can see, the length of this is 250,240, and that is bytes. But we want to refactor these right here. So instead of setting value to file length, we'll set this to file length but string. Okay, so this means we will create a new string. Will be string file length string, as you can see right here. And here we will check if we want the format of the length you want it to be shown as a kilobytes or megabytes, really, because we don't have gigabyte images, right? Okay, so it can be either kilobytes or megabytes. So what we will do here is that first we will transform a file length to kilobytes. For that, we will divide this by 1024. Okay, so file length is now in kilobytes. So here we will go create an if statement, and we have to know how many kilobytes is a megabyte, which is 1024. So we'll check if file length is greater than 1024. We'll do something, and if it's not, then we'll do something else. So if file length is greater than 1024, we will set file length string will be equal to file length string value of file length divided by 1024, and this will be in megabytes, and space MB. Okay, and if it's smaller than 124, or equal actually, we're going to say file length string equals to string that value of file length, and this, since it's already in kilobytes, we don't have to divide it, and we will set plus KB. Okay, hopefully it works, and now we will run the app to check if it actually works. Okay, right now I'm running the app. I'm long click here and click on info. As you can see, 244 kilobytes, which is awesome. Let's check another app like this to see if it works. Info, 5 kilobytes. That's a pretty small image, as you can see. Let's check this right here and info, and this is 22 kilobytes. So a pretty small images actually, because they're pretty low resolution in this case. But if you have larger images, then here it will be shown. Okay, great. So now let's try and see what else can we do here. If we reformat the code, we can see that our images are great. And now if I run the app, it's cool to have it. So let me run again to better visualize it. Okay, if I run the app, I have these, and I don't really need these buttons right here. Maybe we can add new features later, but for now we will hide them. To hide them, we go to main activity, to activity main.xml. We go and search for the button bar, which is right here, and it will set the visibility to gone. Okay, so because we don't really need this yet. And if we run the app again, we will have a kind of full screen gallery experience. Okay, so let's see. It is running, and we have a full screen gallery experience. So full screen, totally full screen gallery. As you can see, if we long click, all the stuff up here is shown, which is awesome. And this is for this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you in the next one. Bye.